What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Coffee, Content, and Conversations. This is literally something that Brandon and I started because we talk on the phone way too much for each other. And to the point where we were like, we should probably start sharing these conversations in public a little bit more. So this is talking about all things content. We're not talking about the job search. If you know that what I talk about, not talking about job search, not talking about hiring, talking about content.
I just love that. By the way, I just love that your background looks so great, and I have this happening.
Yeah,
right
you
now.
look like you're in a broom closet.
You
You look like you're in like Harry Potter's cupboard under the stairs.
That's hilarious. I'm actually in a large room. It looks like I'm. Yeah.
It literally looks like you're.
It
looks like you're in a cubicle.
Right?
Yeah, it looks like you're in an office cubicle. So what we're going to talk about today. So Brandon and I are actually heading out on the road tomorrow. Brandon is responsible for documenting my journey and at these tech conferences. And Brandon was interested. I was talking to somebody yesterday about content and about how you just need to put it out. And I feel like so many people get so caught up on content calendars and topics and themes and, oh, we can't do this because this month we're only talking about this. Can you talk about your thoughts around that? And again, for those of you who do watch this, we don't plan anything. We literally just hop on and go. So this is off the cuff. I had a topic
about content calendars itself.
No, just about trying to overly plan content.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's one of the battles I have every time we go out, which is how much do we do ahead of time and plan, and how much do we let the event happen? Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, in this kind of setting, when we're talking about conference, going on the road, there's a lot. I mean, it's mostly stuff that's out of your control. Right. You're going to be in an environment that you're not used to, which means that you largely don't get to plan what's happening in the space around you. Like in Omaha, when we had a random guy just sort of like walk in between us and do a bunch of weird stuff, making fun of us out there making content. You can script the topics and things of that nature and sort of anticipate some of those things and make things happen. But for the most part, I feel like in a conference setting, it's more or less run and gun. I try to let you focus on the conference itself.
Yeah.
So that you could do organic things so it doesn't come across as fake.
Yeah.
But also thinking, what can we do that's set up maybe a little bit that we can capture here that we can't usually do back home? Because there are certain things in a conference. I mean, you talked about like your content performs a little bit better sometimes when it's you on stage.
Yeah.
There's something about that authority look of the content of you being on stage in front of a crowd and doing your thing. So there's a lot of trust in that, which you can't really do at home in an authentic way. So those are the kind of things that we really have to make sure that we do. But other stuff that's off the cuff, it's like you host a virtual show, several of them at this point. So many people you've never actually met in person, or it's been 3 or 4 years. So capturing those moments of you getting to high five and hug and embrace and catch up, those are really cool because, you know, it lets people see sort of like what it really looks like for guidance counselor to happen.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that behind the scenes of like what it really looks like to be a content creator. Even, you know, we were in Madison, Wisconsin last week, and we're sitting in your room, like putting your keynote together a mere hours before the keynote.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of people might think like, oh, wow, you performed really well up there and it, you know, just rolled off your tongue. So to anybody in the audience, they probably thought that you put some time into that.
But I was having a complete utter breakdown 24 hours before.
Well, and that's the thing that, you know, talking about being prepared, one of the things I think I said to you in some form or fashion was like, you've done this for at least 12 years. You're the biggest domain expert at what you're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. You live what you talk about, what you're going to say in the topic of you are not alone is real to you. And because you actually think about this stuff, you actually care about people, you're actually, you know, you talk openly about being in counseling. You've done this for more than 12 years at this point. All of that stuff comes natural to you. So you don't have to actually script it out. It might feel like you should just because you're going to be on stage in front of a ton of people.
Mm,
But you actually perform better whenever you're you.
yeah.
Over scripting makes it like you're remembering a script and you're not you. You're not off the
Do you
cuff and you're not being your personality.
do you feel like that's where a lot of traditional marketers get content kind of confused, is the over scripting, the over trying to like plan everything?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that things should not be planned or
Sure,
scripted.
because like we've
Of course,
planned
you gotta have thoughts.
content shoots before.
Yeah, but certain, the delivery and how people talk, like people talk like people.
Yeah.
And as soon as you start scripting out every single word into dialogue, and you got to have a teleprompter there, or they memorize it, you lose the authenticity, you lose the person behind what you're doing.
Yeah.
And the entire reason you had a person and a face on screen is because other data would tell you that when a face is on screen, there's more trust.
Yeah.
Well, you just undermine that trust whenever you scripted the thing out.
Yeah.
So making sure that the person that's on screen, whether it's you or somebody else, making sure that you understand the point of what we're doing, the message we're trying to get across, and let them be them in the content, that's the best way to go. So, like when brands try to embrace, I look so orange today. This is wild. The lights are super orange. When brands work with influencers and creators, for example, you got to let the creators be the creators. There's a reason that you are engaging them. Hopefully, you've seen some organic content from them that they've actually used your product or service so that they really align with you and really enjoy you, and they're not just lying to their followers.
Yeah.
And also, they're a content creator. That's their bread and butter and what they do best. And the moment that a brand comes in there and tries to script it or change them, their audience, that creator's audience, is going to look at that and go, that's not really Taylor. That's
Right.
not really that person. So you have
And then
to let people be people.
and most of our content shoots, we've put a loose script in, I would say. Like, hey, these are kind of the themes we want to talk about, but we've never made anybody read off of a script or anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and that's what I was getting at, was like making sure that we're clear on the message that we're trying to get across. And other than that, it is what it is. James Quick, what's up?
What's up, dude? It's good to see you, man.
For the yeah.
Well, and then James, I mean, James is a monster content creator too, right? And I think the big thing with content is trying to meet people where they're at. And what I mean by that is is to allow people to see who you truly are, right? Like James here, I've never scripted. That's what I'm saying. Like I think in today's world, I think people can sniff out the authenticity so fast, so fast.
Yeah, I mean, people, it's so tiring to say all the same cliche things, but they're cliches because there's a lot of truth to them, and people just buy from people.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a million t-shirt companies, but there's a reason you choose the ones that you do, and there's some sort of connection, some bridge between you and Noble, for example. Like whenever you work out, you have those shirts, right?
Yep.
Or like the Create More shirt that you have. It's like
Yep.
there's a million shirts you could have chosen. You chose that one.
Yep.
Why? Well, because you know the person, you know the story, there was a connection there. And the only way that you really have those things is by being real together. I mean, at the end of the day, we try to think that these screens are barriers between us and creators, or like, you can't really know the person that's on the other side of the screen. They're on the other side of the screen. They're not real, but they are. They're just people. So the exact same way that you tend to interact with your friends, family, colleagues, same thing with the community. So like,
well, and that's for me, like James Quick, who just commented, was just like, he posted about, his baby and stuff. Right. So,
right.
like James just had a kid and he's talking about it openly. James isn't out here trying to be like a shell of himself. And that's why I think people resonate with James, is because he's open and authentic, which again is the whole point of content in my perspective. Like for me, like it's interesting. So I know we're going to wrap up here soon. Here's another topic I'm curious about. And I actually, where did I post it? Did I tweet about it? I don't know. You and I never turned on the TV when we were in Michigan. I mean, Wisconsin.
No, I don't think so. I think it might have been on, but like in the background.
Oh yeah, in the background. We were on our phones the whole time.
Yeah, I was not watching.
Yeah. And so like that's what I'm saying. I think people need to realize that. Like, and this is kind of a different little shift to what we were talking about. We're talking about just like literally the point. Everybody lives on their phones. So you got to meet them where they're at.
Yeah. I mean, I was on a shoot 2 days ago, and I think my DoorDash is about to show up. That's funny. They're early. I was on a shoot 2 days ago. They wanted to shoot something with sort of commercial work in mind. And so they were thinking, putting this on television, putting it on radio. And so their frame of reference is a traditional radio spot. Hi, I'm Taylor, and this is, and I'm like, no. Because what we're primarily doing is shooting this for Facebook, and you might be able to use it elsewhere. And because we're going to put this on Facebook first, we got to think, doesn't matter that this is paid media, this is going in the exact same place as organic stuff. So we have to think, what do people do organically to make this thing work? And so thanks for coming by, James. So I was like, we got to can the first 20 seconds of what you got. And because what we're trying to do is just stop the scroll. We need somebody to look at this. And this is for a home builder. These are multi-million-dollar homes. And it's like, I don't want to see your face in the first moment. I want to see the beautiful $1,000,000 house that you're building to make me stop. And then maybe at the end, you put your face in there, you're shaking hands with your subs or whatever, with a little call to action. And then you have a different video that's on your website that maybe then it's you and you start out introducing yourself, but it's more appropriate there because it's further down the funnel. We've already been introduced to who you are. We recognize your face from the ad that we just came from. And I came to your website to learn more, not just about the product and service, but also about who's going to provide it. And that's you. So, you have to think social first with everything. And
but
again,
I feel like that hurts
that we designed.
I feel like that hurts people's brains.
Well, it does, but that's the crazy thing. It's like, now radio is difficult because you don't get the benefit of the visuals, right? So that's a little bit different. But even still, it's like you got to say things that capture my ear's attention.
Yeah.
Introducing yourself and saying your name first. No. I don't even care. Like, don't even put your name in the ad.
Yeah.
Nobody cares yet. You got to give me a reason to care. So you got to give me flashy visuals in a commercial or on social. You got to say things that are, sonically interesting to me, whether it's music or sound effects or the words and storytelling that you're giving me. So I just always think social first. Doesn't matter if it is radio or television, because at the end of the day, most people that are producing for television and radio now are actually making for social as well.
Yep.
So even if they're thinking radio and commercial first or a television first, I actually think you got to start with social in mind. And then it just happens to be able to plug elsewhere.
Yep.
So it's my 2 cents on it.
Cool.
But cool. All right, good. So we're doing this every week at 11:30 Eastern, 12 or 10:30 Central on Thursdays. So we'll see you next week.
Peace.